I wanted to create a video where I'm not just giving you guys highlights and positive things about a certain city, but I wanted to give you something where I was completely transparent. That's why this week's episode is all about the pros and the cons of living in Sonoma, California, coming up. What's up, guys? My name is Danny. I'm Cronin. I'm a real estate agent right here in Sonoma County with W Real Estate. And if this is your very first time to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I drop a video once a week, every single week, all having to do with living in Sonoma County, pros and cons, vlog tours, you name it, I cover it right here. So hit that subscribe button if you're interested in learning more. And of course, I am a full-time real estate agent. So if you have any questions about buying, selling, whatever the case is, I would love to be your go-to guy. All my contact information is below. Call me, text me, email me, whatever is easiest for you. And without further ado, let's jump right into this week's episode. So pro number one on my list, and I know it's kind of lame, it's kind of corny, it's not necessarily something you really want to know, but I'm going to give it to you anyways. Sonoma is absolutely gorgeous. If you have never been here before, I highly recommend you come and take a visit. There's just something about the nostalgia of the town of Sonoma that really gets me going. I love the old school look of it. There's a lot of Spanish style themed buildings and houses here in Sonoma. On top of that, there's a bunch of wineries. So if you're looking for an area where it's just truly absolutely gorgeous, and again, I urge you, if you have not been to Sonoma, to at least come and take a visit. Definitely, if you're thinking about buying a house here, you got to come out and visit. Come see this beautiful city before you end up moving here. But it truly is a gorgeous place. The housing, downtown area is phenomenal. Having wineries around you, like literally all around you, is truly amazing. And I think one thing that we take for granted, I know definitely for myself, I don't often look at the beautiful things around me. I'm so focused on what I'm doing, but if we were to all just kind of chill out for a minute, take a step back and look at our surroundings, I think we would really, really, really appreciate where we lived. And to start off the list of cons, con number one, I think this one is fairly simple. It is just expensive here. Now, I made an entire video all about the cost of living in Sonoma. So if you're interested in learning more about just how expensive it is to live here, check that video out. I will link it below in the description. But I was looking at median home prices all around Sonoma County, and the city of Sonoma is very high on the list. The median home price in Sonoma is $1.2 million. That is up 23% from just this time last year. Obviously, we're seeing inflation everywhere, and it certainly is in the real estate market as well. So I wouldn't take that number, you got to kind of take that one with a grain of salt. Everywhere is expensive. Everything right now is expensive. Every city, every small town, suburb, you name it, we are seeing a real estate market that has been just completely on fire for the last couple of years. And this definitely is a result of that. But going back to my very first topic of this video, which is pro number one, which is simply its beauty. Now, its beauty definitely does come at a cost. So you're gonna see a lot of million and above dollar homes here in Sonoma. And on top of that, you're gonna see some gorgeous homes. So, it definitely, they kind of go hand in hand with one another. You're definitely gonna have to pay to be in such a beautiful area. But on top of that, we are seeing inflation everywhere. So again, take that number with a grain of salt. I'm sure that will drop over the years, just as how fast as it has come up. For pro number two, now this is something that's super important to me that I love about the North Bay, is you can find cities like Sonoma that feel a lot smaller than they actually are. So in Sonoma, it is actually a quite small city with only 11,000 people. So again, for me, this is something that's good, right? This is kind of North Bay, Northern California vibes. We got small little towns. So I think a bunch of people that don't live here think about us. But for me, again, a cool thing, 11,000 people, small town, easy to get around, and just overall works for me. Con number 2, Sonoma definitely is a tourist attraction. So kind of piggybacking off of that second pro there about it being a small town, with it being a small town, when there is an influx of people in town, you can certainly feel it, right? The town's small, roads are narrow. I mean, you can definitely feel it. In Sonoma certainly is a tourist attraction. Now, my wife and I were actually just there last weekend for the 4th of July, and it was absolutely packed. We were in the downtown area, and you can certainly feel like that town is small. So when there is an influx of people like that in one little tiny area, it definitely feels a little crowded. But I think, you know, that is a good thing for the town of Sonoma. So this one is kind of a pro and a con. If you're a local here, obviously you're not gonna like a bunch of tourists coming in and out, causing traffic and all that sort of stuff. But if you're just kind of an outsider looking in, it's good that it is a tourist attraction, because that means the city is making money. So for my third point there, kind of a pro and a con depending how you look at it. Which leads me to my pro number 3, and that is there's always something to do here. As I just mentioned, my wife and I, we were just there for the 4th of July celebration last weekend. Tons of people there, tons of cool things to do. And not only on the 4th of July, but throughout certain times of the year, there's always events, there's always music, there's always a good restaurant to go to. One of my favorites is Hot Monk. And they have their very first location in Sonoma, then they branched out, now they're in Sebastopol. But if you're in town, if you're looking for a good bite to eat, a good beer, I highly recommend going to Hot Monk. But during the summertime, there's always something to do here, right? You can go wine tasting just about every weekend, go to a different winery every single weekend, depending if you like wine, if you like beer. There's also, you know, close breweries around town. We have surrounding cities that have tons of great local beer, you know, hiking, events. There's all sorts of stuff to do in the town of Sonoma, which for me, especially with a 2-year-old, is something that is great. You always want to be close by to something, whether that's a park, whether that's just a fun place to go to. And with Sonoma, you're definitely getting that. So con number 3 for me is that the way the city is laid out, to me, kind of feels weird, right? You get on Highway 12 if you're coming from Santa Rosa or somewhere more north. You get on Highway 12, Highway 12 merges all the way down into one lane that takes you into Sonoma, and it's basically one road in and one road out. So, you know, going back to some of the other points of the video, smaller town, you know, all of these things sort of come into play when you're thinking about how the town's laid out. You're on Highway 12, you kind of run right into the downtown area. There's like a little loop downtown, and then you jump right back on Highway 12 and come back out. Obviously, the city expands further than downtown, but if you're in a car and you're heading to Sonoma, that's just how it feels to me, which, you know, is a little weird. I mean, obviously there's other ways out. You can go to Napa, you can go to different places as well, but if you're coming north, coming from Santa Rosa, heading into Sonoma, it just feels kind of weird, like one lane road, you know, kind of dead ends, and then you can just kind of turn around, hop right back on 101 and head back into town. So, might not be a big deal for you guys, but for me, kind of weird, kind of small town vibe-ish, going back to some of the other points, but that's con number 3. And that is gonna wrap up this week's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Do me a huge favor. If you did, hit that subscribe button and give this video a big like. It really, really, really helps me out. Also, another thing I wanna tell you about, I just launched a brand new website. So if you guys are sick of hearing me talk and you wanna go maybe read a blog, maybe that's more your style these days, you guys wanna know more about Sonoma County, check out my website, living-in-sonomacounty.com. Also, it's a great way to reach me as well. There's a contact form at the bottom, jumps right into my email so I can get right back to you ASAP. And of course, we have a podcast as well. So if you want to hear this in your ears and not look at this pretty face all the time, that is definitely an option for you as well. All of the links are below in the description. And of course, if you guys have any questions about moving here, maybe moving away, please feel free to give me a call. All my information is down below. Call, text, email, whatever's easier for you. And again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you on the next one.